Welcome back to Well, That's Interesting, the normalize eating a can of refried beans after a workout edition.
For real. You cannot shame anyone for eating refried beans before a workout,
Right.
after a workout,
During
a workout.
If you want to whip open a can of beans while you're, on a treadmill,
please do it.
Do
That's
it.
totally normal. You are fine. If you want to skip the working out part and just eat beans, that's also
just
normal
bean.
too.
Just bean. All bean, all day.
All bean all day, you guys.
Right.
All bean.
It's
all
okay.
day. It's fine.
In this space, you could eat that.
Absolutely.
That's right. And before we get into our episode today, I think we want to do just a quick shout out and a thanks to two amazing podcasts.
Yes.
They've shown us a lot of love over the internets, and we really think our listeners should check them out. Slay Queens, if you're into true crime, this is the podcast for you.
You're going to love these guys. I love them. Wayne and Ash, y'all are the best.
The best, funny, charming. They cover just really sensitive topics with the LGBTQ community, and they're just fantastic. Can't say enough about them and their podcast. And also Lumpy Mother.
Fuck yeah.
We
It's the
see
best
you.
name ever. We see you. We hear you. We love y'all.
So please check out Lumpy Mother. They're so funny. They're amazing on Twitter. They're basically two new moms just hacking through motherhood just with machetes of laughter.
I don't know how people do it. I mean, having a podcast is hard enough. Can you imagine having a podcast and another human that came out of you? That's so crazy hard.
I was barely able to open that can of beans.
Oh my gosh. So much credit and so much love to Natalie and Sarah with the Lumpy Mother.
There you go. Please check out Slay Queens, Lumpy Mother. And thank you for tuning in to episode 027.
Yeah.
That time apartments were built with radioactive beams.
I love this title. Also, I am with Jill Cha-Cha.
Oh, shit. Yes, that is me. And I'm with non-radioactive Marissa Riley.
As, as far as we know so far. So, this sounds crazy bad.
Crazy bad. It was. But it did not take place in the United States, surprisingly.
What? Are you saying this didn't happen in Florida? Or is this your way of segueing to saying it didn't happen in the United States? It happened in Florida.
In the magical place of Florida. Not today. Although I promise we'll probably have Florida come up in the in-betweeny on an upcoming episode. Because
Amazing.
they're just, that's the gift that just keeps on giving.
I can't get enough of Florida.
So now we're actually gonna head to Taiwan, but before we do so, we have to snuggle back into our time machine.
Oh yeah.
And we gotta crank that dial back all the way to the wacky year of 1992.
Fuck yeah.
That's right. The largest shopping mall in the States, the Mall of America, officially opened its doors. Euro Disney opened in France, and South Africans voted for political reforms to end apartheid. But most importantly, Lethal Weapon 3 was released.
What a time.
What a time.
What a time.
Now, does this have anything to do with our story? Not really. I just wanted to know what happened that year because I have barely any recollection of 1992.
Me either. Not to brag, I was 2.
Aw.
Yeah, I was 2. I remember very little. Sesame Street.
Cute.
Awesome that year.
That's
all I remember.
Killer year for Sesame Street.
Sesame
92,
Street.
They fucking nailed it.
Peas were awesome that year.
That's right.
It was Peas, Sesame Street, and plush toys. That was what I was into.
The trilogy you need. What else? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. What also happened, and has actual relevance to this story, was an adorable moment between a father and his young son. Around a kitchen table one evening, Dad, an employee of Taiwan Power Company, or Tai Power for short, Dad wanted to show his kid one of his fun work tools and took out a Geiger counter out of his bag.
All right, you got to tell me.
Yeah.
What is it?
What the fuck is a
Because
Geiger
I'm
counter?
imagining a lot of things. I'm imagining a flamethrower, which is something my dad actually did pull out in
Yes.
front of you.
Yeah, and I used it.
And you used it.
It was a great day. It was a Thanksgiving day, too.
It was Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
That's how we do it down south. We pull out the flamethrower
And we
that
just,
he bought for what, like $40?
yeah, he bragged about it was about $40. Got the parts at Home Depot. Next thing you know, we're starting a huge bonfire.
Yep, throwing flames.
Controlled. It was a controlled
It was controlled.
flamethrower-based bonfire.
Yeah, and he does live in the woods, which sounds more dangerous, but it's actually... You know what? I don't have an end to that sentence. Tell me more about this Geiger counter.
Okay. So, like, this is one of those things, we all know what it is when we see it, but we just don't know the name of it.
Okay.
So a Geiger counter is used to measure levels of radiation. Lots of them have digital readers, and some of them gauge radiation using a needle. And we've all seen these old school ones in like horror films or disaster shows because their readings are like visually more dramatic. It's like the part in the movie where the scientist whips out a box looking thing and with the microphone looking thing sticks that in the air and the needle is like resting at 0 and then shoots all the way to the right.
Ah!
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like an easy way to tell the audience something awful is happening. So the
Right.
needle like shoots from 0 to whatever, and it's kind of scary.
It makes me think of in WandaVision right now, Kat Dennings' character pulls out like
Yeah.
a bunch of different little things. I don't think any of them are Geiger counters, but they are little like
Oh, that's right.
little boxes that say like something's wrong. The levels are off the charts on a thing that you don't understand, but you know it's bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that cosmic radiation background shit, whatever she was talking about. Is that
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're caught up. You're either caught up or you're never going to watch it. I think that's what WandaVision is for the world right now.
Yeah. Don't email us. So when that needle does move, yes, something awful is actually happening. It's actually counting every alpha or beta particle that passes in front of it, and it records a count every second or every minute, depending on the machine. So the more particles in the air per second, for example, the further that needle shoots to the right.
Got it.
Okay, so when Dad turned on his Geiger counter, to his horror, the counter jumped immediately into levels that screamed dangerous. The family's kitchen was emitting large amounts of radioactivity.
No, that's bad.
That's very bad.
That's where you eat.
That is where you eat. That's where you eat beans.
That's where you eat beans after you work out or just in general.
That's right. So it was this random moment that led to a $15 million investigation, which actually revealed a disturbing cover-up. And after the break, we're going to get into it. But first, let's get this capitalism shit out of the way first.
Yep.
All right?
Buy it.
Buy this product.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're two scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
But that is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
We're the All Creatures Podcast. Each week, Angie and I explore and share amazing details about the many animals we share our world with.
Plus, Chris and I are both PhD scientists and educators. So we do the deep dives in the scientific research and then come back and share what we learn in a fun and casual way. We also speak with other scientists, animal experts, activists, and many other conservation enthusiasts from all over the planet.
So you can find the All Creatures Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms. So when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for Podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. And we're back.
We are so back.
We're so back, and we're back in Taiwan, 1992. Dad just flipped on his Geiger counter and just fucking discovered that he was living in an apartment with the radiation 100 times greater than the recommended dose.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I'm not gonna lie. That's more than twice.
Yes.
That's 100 times.
Yes. And needless to say, the press got a hold of the story, and it was immediately wondered, was this the only unlucky family? And according to todayifoundout.com, an investigative reporter from the Liberty Times did a little sleuthing, and in July of 92, broke the scoop. The entire apartment complex was off the charts.
That's terrible.
Yes,
That's so many people.
Oh, it gets even worse.
No.
And it wasn't even this building. Word got out that homes in Taipei, Changhua, Taoyuan, and Keelung City were in the same predicament. Radioactive homes were island-wide.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and the following month, in August of 1992, Taiwan's Atomic Energy Council, the AEC, finally kicked into gear and realized their daunting task. They need to check 200,000 apartments across the country and relocate anyone in the danger zone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm shaking Jill again by the shoulders. Oh my God. Okay, sorry.
And if the entire process was going to be anything like the way it started, they had a huge fucking problem on their hands. Now, would you like to read from the Los Angeles Times article, Taiwan Hunts for Radioactive Apartments?
I would love to. All right, here we go. Quote, between 1% and 2% of the 25,000 to 3,000 apartments checked until now are radioactive, said Wang Manchao, a vice chairman of the Atomic Energy Council. Those numbers
That's a lot.
are bad.
Yeah, 25 to 30,000 apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 to 2% of them.
Wow.
Radioactive.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, right out of the gate, they found up to 1,100 homes.
Oh my
and
God.
in their investigation, they found each building had a few things in common.
Like what? So we can look at ours.
Okay, other than being radioactive. Okay.
Right.
So 1, tests showed homes were filled with the highly radioactive particle cobalt-60.
Okay.
2, those particles came from the steel reinforcing bars or the rebars in the building walls.
Okay.
And 3, all of those rebars were made by the Xinjiang Iron and Steel Company in 1982.
Fuck.
10 years prior.
Fuck.
Yeah. Back then, a shipment of 604 tons of random scrap metal was delivered to the company.
Okay.
And would you like to read how many homes and businesses were built with this fucking material?
I gotta know. Of course I'm reading it. All right. Quote, the scrap metal was melted down and used to produce over 20,000 tons of rebar, which meant between 1982 and 1983 was used in the construction of more than 200 buildings throughout Taiwan, including 30 schools.
Yep.
And 100 tower blocks, including over 1,700 apartments.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Schools.
That's
the scariest thing. I mean, living as well, that's also scary. And tower blocks, whatever that means, sounds scary. But schools sounds really...
Fucking 30 schools,
Really rough.
at least 1,700 apartments. And that was all from todayifoundout.com. Now, it should be pointed out that the company had no idea the scrap metal they received was radioactive. Okay, but here's the shocking part, or the not so shocking part, because it's how the fucking world works. The Atomic Energy Council, the AEC, knew of the radioactive buildings as early as 1985 and did nothing about it.
You're shitting me.
Nope.
You're shitting me.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Can we sue them? Can we defund? I don't know.
The rage is building.
Oh.
So, the rage should be building. And they found out in the same like random way, back in 1985, a dentist in Taipei's Minsheng Villa was having work done on his X-ray machine. Okay. And the technician pulled out a Geiger counter and it went fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
And in the same year, 1985, second warning, a delivery of those rebars was sent to a local nuclear power plant for construction, and they set off alarms in the plant.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean...
And we did nothing.
They didn't do
anything.
anything.
Not we. Not me. I would have done something. I would have sent an email or something, or screamed, maybe cried a little bit, peed my pants. But it sounds like they didn't.
They did not pee in their pants or send an email or a letter, in that case, 85, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, needless to say, once this was leaked, that people were swimming in cobalt-60 for years without any action being taken, the AEC's reputation was shot to hell, and the investigation needed to go deeper.
Yeah.
Would you like to read from Asia Week's... this is like the simplest word in this whole damn thing. I couldn't read it.
It's two words together, but together it looks a little confusing.
AsiaWeek.com's article, Nuclear Families.
Yes, I would love to read. I'm so here for this story. Oh my God. I feel like Erin Brockovich right now. Oh my God. Helping the people.
She's got her glasses on.
It's the 90s. Okay. All right.
Great boobs.
Great boobs. She had like a messy like bun during that time. Am I picturing the right Julia Roberts when I say that?
Oh, when I said great boobs, I meant you.
Oh, me. Yeah. Look at you. You're too sweet. All right, let me do the quote. Okay. Quote, one organization doing its own research is the Association for Radiation Safety, ARS, a pressure group campaigning for compensation for affected residents. Amazing. It was founded by Wang Yulin, who lived in one of the radioactive buildings. His concern was piqued when his daughter was diagnosed with cancer, which can be caused by exposure to radiation. End quote. Oh my God.
I know. Now, the ARS believed the metal sold to Xinjiang Iron and Steel Company came from the state-owned monopoly Taipower, which runs Taiwan's 3 nuclear power plants. And they believe the state-run AEC didn't want to rock the radioactive boat.
Yeah.
Now, it's a plausible explanation that it came from these 3 power plants.
Yeah.
But they have no receipts. The AEC, who nobody trusts, says scrap from Taipower could not be the source because Taiwan doesn't produce cobalt-60.
What?
Yeah. Wang Manchao, that vice chairman of the Atomic Energy Council, who we quoted earlier.
Right.
He says the scrap must have then come from the West or even mainland China.
Okay.
But to this day, it's unclear where that scrap metal came from. But what is clear was the initial cover-up back in 1985.
Oh.
Which led to approximately 10,000 people being exposed daily to radiation for years. So, what the fuck happened?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes. So, in 1993... 3 AEC officials were indicted for failing to warn of the contamination at Minsheng Villa, where that dentist guy worked.
Yes.
And would you like to read from the Lancet.com about what took place in 1997?
Of course I would. All right, quote, a district court in Taipei announced the success of 57 residents in claiming national compensation for physical, property, and psychological losses resulting in the intentional negligence of the government officers who concealed, or government officers, I'm so excited about this, government officers who concealed information about radiation contamination of the residents' apartments for nearly a decade, end quote.
There you go. Yeah. So the courts kind of reacted pretty fast.
Good.
For courts, I mean, like within 5 years, there was some accountability. But then again, there's like only 57 people out of 10,000 were compensated, which seems kind of fucking meager when you look into like what researchers discovered.
Yeah.
A 5-year study following 4,100 ex-residents showed no dramatic increases in cancers in this group versus the general population, but that was in adults.
No.
Yeah. Quote, researchers, however, concluded that excessive radiation did have a negative impact on humans. For example, we discovered that the height of children who had been exposed to radiation exceeding the safety limits were generally below average, said Chang Wushou, an environmental health sciences professor. He also said that the incidence of cataracts among children who lived in radiation-contaminated buildings was higher than the national level.
Wow.
We also concluded that radiation causes damage to white blood cells, weakening people's immune systems, Chang said. The research, however, was not welcomed by the Atomic Energy Council, the government's nuclear watchdog.
Of course.
Officials from the council contacted Chang several times, asserting that his research on low-level radiation would not result in any new scientific discoveries. They told him that a low dose of radiation has been demonstrated to be beneficial to humans.
What the fuck?
End quote. Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and this was all, that huge quote was from TaipeiTimes.com. Yeah, that last part from the AEC, what in the holy fuck are they talking about? Yeah.
Wow. Especially when they found significant changes with the children, with their fucking eyes, their height, and their fucking immune systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 3 very big things.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so to say a low, steady dose of radiation every day is good for you is like super controversial. There's like, no, I mean.
That's like saying like a little bit of heroin every day is good for you. Taking a tablespoon of gasoline every day is good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt any of those fucking councilmen would live in any of those apartments.
No.
No way. No way.
No.
No.
That should be their punishment. No, it shouldn't. That's terrible. That would be funny if it... Nope, it wouldn't be funny. All right, don't listen to me.
Oh, gosh. Well, luckily, many of the buildings have been destroyed or decontaminated, and nearly all the residents have been relocated. But those that remain choose to, because the selling price offered by the AEC was far less than what the homeowners had originally paid, and they need the money. And with their apartment or their home up for sale, any potential buyers who find out the apartments were involved in the 1982/1983 rebar disaster, they're like, no, we're not interested anymore, because the stigma is still around that they're radioactive, even though the building may have been decontaminated, and it's been about 40 years since this happened. But they're stuck with something, a home that mentally causes them stress, because they're like, my God, this is still kind of radioactive, and they can't get rid of it.
And obviously studies on what happened to a lot of the people have stopped, so they don't have a clear...
Right.
They don't exactly know what it's doing to them.
Right, exactly.
At all times.
Right. Exactly, and that sucks. It happened, and that's the end of this episode.
Wow, I am taking a fucking breath. What a freaking roller coaster. Oh my God. I was like, you can't see me right now because it's a podcast, but I've been crouched up in front of Jill's screen, eyes glued to what she's talking about.
Just clutching your pearls.
Clutching my pearls. I've been slapping her on the back really hard. I don't know what that's about. That was an incredible story.
Yeah, and geez, that's really all we've got.
Yeah.
Other than fucking check out those 2 podcasts.
Oh, do it.
And stay interesting.
Please do.